Hey guys, can you see me?
Mm-mm. Do I have to hit the play button? Tell me that technical difficulty. Give us a second. Maybe stop scratching
I'm not though, apparently. Huh, you didn't hit go.
Okay.
Hey guys, sorry about that. We just had a little technical difficulty. So today we're going to talk about creating systems for your marketing and overall for your real estate business. For those of you that may not know, David and I, we are in St. Petersburg, Florida, and this is Wiley. We've been investing for 3 years now. I think November, yeah, actually 2 weeks ago was our 3-year anniversary from our first deal. David does this full time, and I still have a full-time job, and I do this sort of on the side. So David, the way we've divided our responsibility is David does the sales and he does all the day-to-day operations with rehabs, property management, all that stuff. One of my jobs is to make sure that he has constant source of leads that he can work and turn into sales. So since I am working a full-time job, it was important for me to make sure that my time was maximized and we became as efficient as we could in terms of generating the leads and then also handling the leads and converting them over. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is how do you define your marketing strategy. And so since this was a full-time business for David, we broke it down and we said, okay, well, we know we want to do a few different things and attack it from a few different angles. So direct mail was a big part of that. For any of you guys that have done direct mail, you know there's a lot of pieces that go into the puzzle. So you have to think about who you're going to target, what areas, equity levels, all those different things, how long they've owned the house. Then you've got to create the letters, mail the letters, and then depending on how many letters at a time you're sending out, you've got to be able to handle all the phone calls that come in, capture all that information, analyze the property, sometimes visit the property, make your offers, do all that. So if you, just for direct mail alone, if you don't have a good system in place, then it could really break down. And then you'll be investing a lot of money in your marketing and not getting those returns. So the first thing that we did is we said, okay, and we've evolved this over the years, of course. We said, all right, we've got to find somewhere to get our list from. So we purchased our list, and at this point now, we've gotten it to a system where we used to write out the letters ourselves or have an assistant do it and then schedule the mailings, but now we have the same company where we buy the list, we buy it in bulk, and then we're on a schedule with them so that every week between 500 and 1,000 letters are going out. They write the letters, stamp the letters, mail the letters, and then we've got a steady stream of letters going out because we found when we were doing it ourselves, we weren't always consistent, and consistency is really the key with this. So it's not just about efficiency, it's staying consistent in your marketing. So the letters are now going out we do between 500 and 1,000 a week. We ramp it up on holiday weekends and things like that. But then the next thing is, okay, the phone rings, and when you're sending out 1,000 letters a week, even at a pretty low response rate, and we're getting like a 10% response rate on a bad week, up to 12 or 13 on a good week, you know, you're looking over 100 calls if you send out 1,000 letters. So that's a lot of phone calls. And so we found, again, we were breaking down when all those calls are coming in, like over a 2 or 3 day period, or the majority, 80% of them are coming in within a short amount of time. We weren't answering the phone all the time. We weren't getting back to people quick enough. So we said, okay, so how can we improve this part of the system? So you've got some options here. So there are answering services that are very professional, and some are even geared towards real estate. PatLive.com is one of them. Answer First is another. So but you can Google, there's tons of them out there. And then you pay basically per minute. And so what you do with those guys is you write out a script. And again, it's very formalized, and you could write out a script if you're buying or selling, depending what you're doing. But for yellow letters, obviously you'd be buying. So you put in your script all the general information that you'd want. And then once they take the phone call, they capture it, and then they email it to you. So then the question becomes, okay, well, now you're getting all these leads in, and again, it could be up to 100 or more. You've got to go through, we like to analyze them at least a little bit before we call them back and talk to them. So we set it up now so that it goes from the call center directly to our virtual assistant, and then the virtual assistant will go through and they will do the analysis. So, and again, there's a number of different virtual assistants, VA for hire, 123 employee. There's a few different ones out there. So now you've got some people in place, and the phone calls are getting answered and they're getting analyzed. But you've got to make sure that your team is connected. And we have found, and so everybody stays in contact while all this is going on. So we've found Google Drive is a lifesaver for that, and has really streamlined so much for us. So when we create the scripts for the call center, we can put all of that up on Google Drive. Then when they email it, they'll either post it to Google Drive. Sometimes they'll just email it directly to the VA. But we will definitely have Excel spreadsheets or analysis templates for all the calls that come in. So when they get that sheet from the call center, they'll just enter the information. They'll look up everything else that we want to know, and they'll fill in all the sheets. And then we can see it real time as soon as they're updating it, and take a look at it. But that's only a portion of the system. The real-time savings came because we found, you know, sometimes you get different virtual assistants, or things change, or you're getting new assistants in your office even. It takes a lot of time to answer the questions. So what we've started to do is we create videos pretty much for everything now. So in this case, we created a video how to do the analysis. And so you can use systems like Camtasia. I think if you've got a Mac, you can do something with iMovie, but basically it's anything that's going to capture your screen and all the clicks that you're doing, so that they can see. And then we post those videos, obviously, to Google Drive so that if they have questions, they can look at the video first before they, you know, keep calling you to ask you questions. And that's been a huge time saver. So with the analysis templates, for example, we put, you know, I would show them, okay, you know, we want to know basically what the tax appraisal value is, how much the taxes were. So, you know, when you look on Zillow, I would scroll down and say, look, this is where you look for the sold price, the last sold price. This is where you look for where the taxes are, how much the taxes are, what the appraised value is, all of that. So that has been very good for us. So now you've set up the system, and And when I set up my letters to go out, I do it basically on a quarterly basis, so I don't really have to think about it again for a quarter. So I buy enough names so that it'll just go out automatically every week for a quarter. Unless I want to change the, in the beginning it was much shorter. I didn't do it that long because I was still tweaking what I wanted the letter to say, but at this point we've got a pretty solid letter, so I just let it roll. But now we've gotten through getting the letters out, it going through the call center, getting to VA, gets analyzed. And so now it's really just, it's back to us to take a look to see what do we want to do? Do we want to visit the is it worth it? Do we need to call them right away, visit the property? Or, you know, they're basically selling it for retail. Maybe it's not something we're interested in, but you never know. And so we still want to send them an offer. So again, on that same spreadsheet, David or I will look at them. In this case, typically David, he'll go through, mark the ones that he wants to visit, and then he'll follow up on those. And then for the others, he'll put in an offer amount, and then that will trigger the assistant to send a letter to them to say, this is what our offer is going to be on your home. Thank you for calling us, and all that good stuff. So then at least there's been some written correspondence, and you would be surprised sometimes just that one little extra step, and because it's part of the system, makes a difference. We've gotten it, you know, and usually we're going to when we make those offers sight unseen, they're going to be much lower. But people have accepted them, and they've turned into pretty good deals. So it does pay to do that. So from start to finish, that's our system for direct mail. And I would say at this point, on average, it probably takes me less than 2 hours a quarter, unless I'm just interested in what kind of leads are coming in and I take a look, and which happens a lot. So maybe an hour or two a month. But yeah, so that's been completely streamlined, and so very successful, and probably is saving me from when I was doing it all myself, not including writing the letters because that's extremely time consuming, but even all the rest of it, just analyzing leads, it's probably saving about 20 to 30 hours a week, where we could be doing things better with our time, or as Dean would say, more in our unique capabilities. So that's good. We also do bandit signs as well. And so bandit signs, for those, you've got to buy the signs, write them out, get them posted around town, and have your map and do all that. And then again, it's the same process in terms of when people call, how you handle the leads. So the system that's in place for handling the calls for direct mail is exactly the same as it is for the bandit signs. So now we just needed to put in place that front part system. So we found a place locally who actually is the one of the cheaper places that we found to buy bandit signs, and they'll deliver to the house. So off the bat, that saves, you know, usually about an hour by the time you drive out somewhere, pay for it, bring it back. Then we've got an ad. We use the same ad all the time on Craigslist, and we'll repost the ad and get somebody to write them out and post them up for us. But we found that not everybody places bandit signs the same way, as elementary as that might sound. So guess what we did? We created a video on how to place bandit signs to make sure that the cars could see it. It's, you know, set back a little bit from the light. It's, you know, where cars are stopping and not around the turn and nobody can see it. So we placed the video again on Google Drive, and then we also placed the map of where we want to put the sign. So, and we've got a couple different maps up there. Some are in St. Pete, some are in Tampa, you know, sometimes we do some other areas. So the map is up there, the video is up there. We did set up a separate Google Drive from the direct mail for the bandit signs, because we didn't want our bandit sign people to see all our leads from direct mail. But but effectively the exact same process. When the calls come in, they go to the call center, then it goes to the virtual assistant who types in all the information, analyzes the lead, and then we take a look at it, call them back, make an appointment, or make an offer. So pretty streamlined for that. And the key when you put all these systems in place and you can streamline it and reduce the time it takes you, it's remarkable how much more consistent you'll be in your marketing efforts. And I know some of you are probably thinking like, well, I don't have a VA or a virtual assistant, or I don't have a call center. And I can certainly understand that. We did it on our own for a long time. But what I will say is it might be worth looking into. You can get a VA for about $4 to $6 an hour. They're saving at least 20 hours worth of work. And so, if you're talking about $80 a week, if you can close another deal, it's probably worth the $80 a week, as opposed to you not doing any marketing at all and not getting those deals in. So the next thing would be social media. Admittedly, we are not, we don't have our system perfected on social media. We should probably get Jay St. Hillier to talk about that. I think he uses Aweber or something to schedule things in advance and make sure that you keep a regular presence. We sort of go through phases in terms of our consistency with Facebook and Pinterest and Twitter and the rest of them. Right now is not one of our good phases. So I would just recommend for myself to get a system better in place for that and keep it going. But where we are good is making offers and making continuous offers. So again, back to the virtual assistant, this is something else you can have them do that would probably fall easily within their 20 hours. We get them to analyze for HUD offers and for auction site offers. So what we've done is we created a list of zip codes, and then they do daily checkings on the HUD home store for us, and then they'll make offers for us. Some of them are licensed real estate agents, so it depends who you get. But they'll make the offers for us, and then they'll check the new listings on HUD in particular for us every day. And so we do the HUD every day, and then usually one day a week we'll do all the other websites. So say Hubzoo on Monday, HomePath on Tuesday, maybe county auctions on Wednesday, etc. And so then, and all of the addresses are listed on a separate spreadsheet, but a spreadsheet on Google Drive. They do all the analytics. So what's the Zillow? And then we have them, and again, we did videos on each piece of this. We have them identify and highlight the high potential. So, and you could set different criteria when you create your videos. So for example, if the list price on a Hubzoo house is 50% of the Zillow value, it's probably worth taking a closer look at to see if you want to make a bid on that. Or if, if the list price is lower than the county appraiser site, maybe you want to take a look at that, whatever the case may be. So we'll have them highlight those addresses for us so we could scan it quickly and look at it. I mark off about an hour on my calendar every Friday to just look through and see. I usually scan through all of them just in case, there might be a little diamond in the rough somewhere in there. But look through and then check off any properties that we may want to take the time to visit over the weekend and make offers on. So, but again, I'll do videos to identify the high potentials, do videos how to make the offers on the HUD homes, do videos on how to fill out the spreadsheet for all the auction sites. So lots of videos, lots of marketing, but again, when you can put these systems in place for your business, and they don't have to be complicated at all. In fact, it's pretty basic. You can save yourself a lot of time, and you can increase your consistency in terms of your marketing. And once you increase your consistency, you'll start to see the rate of return come back to you tenfold. So at this point, I guess I would just pause for a minute and see if there's any questions.
There's a delay, so give it a second.
I'll take a drink of water in the meantime. All right, well.
No, you ain't got there yet. It's that big of a delay.
Oh.
It's a huge delay. So now you're taking a drink of water on here. All right, so I don't know if there's nobody asked any questions.
All right. Well, it seems like there's no questions. So thank you guys for your time and for attending this evening. And we'll talk again soon. Have a great evening.
Okay, that was the fastest thing.